So I fell, actually hurt myself, so I had to go to the hospital.
Right.
And inadvertently, whatever, I had a CAT scan.
Right.
So in that CAT scan, I knew, you get a copy of it. So I went home, whatever, days later I got a copy,
right.
And I just kept staring at that same location that I've posted a picture of a head on Twitter, showed it on my TV show, Lee,
right.
of that location of a head wound. Coincidentally, there is several images of an object in that same exact location.
Tell everybody where that is. Lower of your head, right?
Exactly.
And if you look, and I'm looking at, I can't read an X-ray. I don't know what I'm looking at, but if I'm looking at this X-ray, there is definitely a dot in the back of your X-ray or CAT scan. So
exactly.
I don't know what I'm looking at, but I do see a dot.
And there's several different angles in images.
Right.
So did that help me in any sense to say, okay, now I know for sure?
Right.
I mean, what a burden, Lee. I mean, what a heavy burden. I almost feel like crying because it's a burden. It's just a burden that's beyond what anybody can imagine. And to think that society someday wants to microchip people, let me tell you, Lee, there's a thing called remote neural monitoring, where these microchips, they're like medical devices. They're hooked to satellites, and the satellites are also hooked to computers, hooked to artificial intelligence.
Right.
So they can manipulate your whole body. Remote neural monitoring means they know your brain thoughts, what you see. It's really creepy. And if your listeners want to know, there's an article in the Epoch Times, EPOCH, the Epoch Times, about thousands in China exposed to mind control. If they want to read up, I mean, this activity is going on throughout the whole world. Therefore, Trump is doing the right thing, Space Force. Ted Cruz is involved with it, Vice President Pence.
All right, so just to back up a couple seconds here again, we're talking with Phil Marie, and he's got some incredible claims, and we've had him on before. Now, just to show you that he's not the only one that thinks like this, former Vice President actually talked about this
2005
in hearings, correct?
With Justice Roberts' hearing for his. Yeah.
Let me play a little bit of that for everybody.
Our constitutional journey did not stop then, and it must not stop now, Judge. And we'll be faced with equally consequential decisions in the 21st century. Can a microscopic tag be implanted in a person's body to track his every movement? There's actual discussion about that. You will rule on that, mark my words, before your tenure is over. Can brain scans be used to determine whether a person is inclined toward criminality or violent behavior? You will rule on that. And, Judge, I need to know whether you will be a justice who believes that the constitutional journey must continue to speak to these consequential decisions, or that we've gone far enough in protecting against government intrusion into our autonomy, into the most personal decisions we make. Judge, that's why this is a critical moment.
All right, so there you go. So Joe Biden speaking of the very same things that you are speaking of today. He did it a bunch of years ago. So you're convinced right now, and you're convinced you actually have a chip in your belly as well, correct?
Well, previously I was on the air with you, and you mentioned about my colon injury.
Right.
That's another thing, Lee. I was on Twitter that night that happened at 2 a.m. Two powerful jolts came ripping right up through my crotch. I was sleeping on my back. Right up through my crotch, out through my head.
Right.
And my head was killing me. I was tweeting about it. I even have a video on YouTube from my TV show talking about that, proving that I was tweeting then. 3 days later, I almost died. My colon had ruptured, and it was going septic. If I had waited one more morning, I would have been gone. And so I had two major surgeries. I had the colostomy bag and absolutely cruel. On this second surgery, where the bag was, the big hole, that was, your new hole where the waste exits. But that was an open wound. And the open wound had to be packed with gauze. And from that point on, the first visiting nurse, I hate to just blame someone, but that first visiting nurse fiddled with that thing, poking for 20 minutes, Lee, and blocking it with her left hand. I didn't know what was going on, but I suspect there is a microchip in that wound area, same as I suspect in the back of my head, the image. So I stand firm on that, and I would like a thorough examination of my entire body at this point.
So you're willing, anybody listening, any doc out there willing to get you and give you a complete examination, full out, with the pictures and everything, you're willing to do it?
Absolutely.
All right, good.
Absolutely. Why would I not?
I know.
This has been 12 years of this.
I know.
They have consumed. I'm 54. I was 42. They stole 12 years of my life, Lee. You see me every week on the TV show.
Sure.
You know.
You're in constant pain. There's no question about it. And you're getting shocked every day.
It increased since that second surgery.
Right.
To a point of monitoring my entire body. I feel it. They can manipulate things, make my heart beat, speed ups, this, that. Yeah, I truly suspect that there's a second chip in my gut area.
And you're